we deserve this month to just be celebrated, to be loved, to just be appreciated, you know, because a lot of times we don't get that, you know.
Hi, I'm Simone Arrington, and I'm the creator and founder of Bonnets and Durags.
I'm Natiah Jones, and I am a photographer, a marketer, a community organizer, and a granddaughter.
I'm Jodi-Lee.
I'm Tiffany.
I'm Jaleja.
And we're the ABC group.
So I moved to New York in October 2017, and 2 weeks into me moving here, I found this event called CultureCon, and it was thrown by this organization called the Creative Collective NYC. And when I got there, I was like, wow, this is my tribe. Like, these are the people I want to surround myself with, because, it's always been something in me to be a creative, and being in that room full of other Black and brown creatives really inspired me. So I started attending more of their events. And I went up to the founder, Imani, and I told her, I would love to start volunteering with you all. Started volunteering, and then there was an opportunity to become an associate. So I received that role, and it was only for a short amount of time. And once, the term was over, they were like, do you want to help with CultureCon? I was like, absolutely, I want to help with CultureCon. And so, I was on the CultureCon planning team in 2018, and that was the year that, we had John Legend as our like keynote speaker. And so it was just such an incredible moment. But I say all that to say, because that was the prerequisite, and I didn't even know that was the prereq for the role that I'm in now. It was one of those things where it's like, I was able to take the skills that I had from my side hustle and transfer them into my corporate job, and it's been working out for me ever since.
I got my first internship at The Source magazine, and then I worked with a few music producers and fashion companies when I was in college. And whilst working in the magazine industry, I also worked in the food industry too. So it was like a huge combination of marketing for different companies and seeing how different business owners market themselves, but also run their businesses. So it eventually led to me working in the agency world for a few years, and now I'm out of the agency world, and I now work for a used camera gear company.
So we all were event planners at Macy's. COVID happened. Kind of just were all let go. It wasn't a thing anymore. Events at least. And I was texting Jodi, and we were just like, we're so over this. Like, we need something. Like, we have so many ideas. And she was talking to Tiffany, and we were just like, let's just get together one day and just talk and just kind of like bounce ideas off each other. So we went to brunch, and we just started
We started gelling.
Yeah.
And vibing, and talking about like just our future goals, and like found out how alike we were.
Yeah.
Cause like we all knew each other from work, but never actually like really worked together. Like me and Tiffany were on like the same team, and I became like the annoying little sister, to be honest. And then Jaleja sat on the other side, and we're like, oh, there's another Black girl on the other side.
And yeah.
So we like all knew each other and stuff, but never really had the opportunity to like really get together. And I feel like that, like, in a way, COVID was a blessing in disguise, because it gave us the opportunity to like move on to the next chapter and like start something that we wanted.
And we wanted to do it anyway, so
we all had that, like, we want to do it. Like, we all wanted to do similar things, and that's crazy. We all have so many different strengths. Like, it's crazy, and it meshes
really well.
I would say that I'm a dot connector. Everything I do, I try to make sure that I'm connecting individuals on a holistic level. So, with Black people, it's important for us to make sure that we're lifting as we climb, that, we dismantle this crab mentality, because there's enough for us to eat. There's enough seats at the table for us to sit. And if there isn't a table for us, we can build it ourselves. So, like, if anything that I do, I want to make sure that I'm connecting the dots and putting people in the right places, giving them the right opportunities, or whatever I can do to make sure that I'm fulfilling their lives.
I'm from DC, and I currently live in Bed-Stuy. And obviously, like, the Black community, it means so much to me. So community organizing is really not this huge, like, activism sort of act, or performative act rather. community organizing is just what is within me, and I believe what should be within everyone within the Black community in some way, shape, or form.
We all come from an event marketing background. So that's like the basis of our company. We do a lot of event planning, experiential marketing, digital marketing. We've started dabbling into set design. So we just like to create stories and experiences for people.
And make brands come to life.
I think I find people from the past inspirational. I have a super spiritual connection with older Black folk. I think that they have like the tales of the world within them, particularly people who had to drink from colored water fountains and go through certain entrances and eat near bathrooms and eat near kitchens. They have a humbleness about them. I find inspiration in them. Any chance I get to say hello to them and make them feel like they're seen, and make them feel like they're beautiful, and make them feel like they're respected, particularly in this nation. That's incredibly inspiring to me. The sight of cameras really inspires me. I love cameras. I love looking at them. I love seeing us hold them. You know, I grew up poor, so it is so irregular for me to have a camera that is a few $1,000s in my hand. And I think that, again, it shows the power of presence, like how you can work so hard to achieve certain tangible things. But these tangible things, they mean so much to the spirit, and they speak to what you're supposed to do.
And I just seen how hard my mom has worked to be able to provide for like me and my siblings. And just like the constant sacrifices that she has made. So it's like, I feel like I owe it to her to be able to like, you know, just create something from my life. So, you know, do better. Like my grandfather struggled to bring his kids here from Jamaica. So it's like, to create a better life for them and for us, I feel like I really just owe it to them to like create a foundation so that way the next generation, like my kids, like they don't have to struggle and they don't have to, you know, really want or need, like we have a foundation and we can, you know, continue to build.
Both of my grandmothers are inspirational to me because when I think of them, I just think of resilience. They've both endured so much pain and heartache, and as Black women, I'm just like, they deserved so much more in life than what was handed to them. And so I feel like everything that I do is in honor of them, and to make sure that, like, you know, I'm standing up for myself, I'm standing firm, you know, I'm claiming everything that I deserve. So my grandmas really, really do inspire me. And even in like the workplace, I'm so fortunate to be on a new team now where, you know, I feel empowered, I feel supported by a network of women. And, you know, and I look at them as allies.
So the person who has been most influential in my life, and I would say it's my mom. She is probably the strongest person that I've ever known. She sacrificed so much for us, and she made it look so easy.
The root of my inspiration really comes from representation. I know how important it was when I grew up to see a Black woman in a position of power or just in the limelight. I remember one of my first memories as a child was seeing Dominique Dawes on TV and being like, oh my gosh, I want to go to the Olympics. I want to be just like her. And so I really, you know, took those moments to heart. And so I wanted to make sure that, like, with the work that I'm doing, that I'm making people, like I said, feel seen, heard, included, all of the above, because I know what it feels like to not feel that. I know what it feels like to be in spaces where I'm the first, only, or different. I know what it feels like to feel excluded from spaces that, you know, I felt like I, you know, deserve to be in. So I make sure that, like, the work that I'm doing is making sure that I'm bringing everybody in and making sure everybody eats and everybody is good.
I mean, you have a community of women also. Like, there's two sides to it. You have a community of women who can, you know, offer you like advice on like how you could manage things or what you're looking for, if you need like a specific vendor. I feel like there's a lot of camaraderie because people feel like, you know, we all want to help each other out and we all want to build each other up. So I feel like that's just one way you can kind of pretty much look at it and see, you know, that's something that I'm grateful for, I think, because you need that, especially like when you're working and you're working long hours and you're working, you know, very hard on, you know, projects. you kind of need that kind of unity. And then there's also the side where it's like you have to be really tough. And you know, I also really appreciate that too, because I feel like you need to be tough in this industry, especially when you're putting on events or you're putting on any kind of like marketing campaign or anything like that. You have to be very decisive. You have to pretty much, you know, point fingers as far as like where this needs to go and who needs to do what, and like you need to be on top of it. And there's really actually no room for error in this industry because the work shows for itself.
Being a woman of color in my current role in my current team, you know, like I said, I feel very supported. I feel very empowered. I can name a situation that happened that I was like, oh, I don't know how they're gonna receive me after this, but I'm also, I want to make sure that like I'm not doing anything to make sure that I'm jeopardizing my career trajectory here, you know, because I didn't want to be exiled or blacklisted from the opportunity that I've been pursuing. So that's why I say it's really important to have allies in the workplace. I am the only full Black person on my team, and as much as like, you know, I enjoy being on the team, sometimes it can be emotionally taxing. There are a lot of times where, you know, something may be happening in the Black community and they'll be like, Simone, what are your thoughts on this? How are you feeling? How's your community feeling? And I know that they mean well, but sometimes it's just like, I don't want to be the voice of the community, and I don't want to have to share my experiences all the time. So as many opportunities as I can, I do take a seat back and listen to how my white counterparts are processing all of this information. So it's a double-edged sword. It's an incredible opportunity, but it also can be a burden sometimes.
You just have to be strong, stern, and confident in what you're doing, because at the end of the day, if you're not, people won't take you serious. Like, you know, like being soft-spoken and things like that don't get you far. And I had to learn that, like, okay, I'm not sitting behind a desk, or I'm not, you know, whatever. You're gonna have to hear my voice. You're gonna have to hear me.
With cameras, as you know, we also create a narrative for ourselves. Like, you know, we're not having no one else tell our stories. Like, we're gonna work as hard as possible to be able to own our own studios, to be able to own our own clothes, to be able to own our own cameras, to the point where we don't need anyone else telling our stories. We talk about the seat at the table. We're asking for them to allow us at their table for what? When we can own the entire room? No, you don't need that. It's all in us.
It's not, I don't even want the seat at the table. I want to own the table. Like that's really what it is, you know? I think we deserve that. We have the right to have that. And I think that our voices are needed now. They've always been needed, but more than ever, because we have a lot to offer.
In our industry, like having a seat at a table is changing that narrative and, like, you know, creating a new norm, like that shouldn't have even needed to be created in the first place. Like, it should have been a normal to begin with, but like just creating that space and like making sure that space is solid and ain't nobody dismantling it and like interrupting that.
So anytime I think that, you know, we are able to get in the room and have a seat, if there is an opportunity for us to pull up someone else to allow them to have an opportunity to, let's do it. But to be quite honest, that's not always the case. Sometimes, you know, there are opportunities that come about, and unfortunately we live in this society where there is a gatekeeping mentality where people feel like, oh, I worked hard to get here. It's just me and me only. I'm not letting anybody in. And that's why I also say it's important to build your own table too. That's what I saw with Bonnets and Durags. I said, you know, I'm interested in podcasting, but the podcasts I'm seeing in this space right now are all about like gossiping or, you know, tearing other people down, or, you know, it's just shady. And I was like, you know, well, instead of trying to start a podcast that was similar, because I noticed that's what was getting traction, why don't I try to build something that I'm passionate about and build something that's a little bit out of the norm, that, or at least what I haven't seen in the market at that time. So
believe in yourself and stop doubting yourself so much. That was something I struggled with a lot. Like, I don't know if it's coming from like an only child home, or I don't know what it is. It's just like I would be scared to like speak up for myself, or be scared to do certain things because I cared about like, oh, how would this look, or I don't want to look too aggressive, or I don't want to XYZ. And now I look back and I'm like, everything that you wanted to do, you should have done that. Like, it's either going to fail or it's either going to be successful, you know? Like, I took a leap of faith when I moved to New York, like, you know, and when I moved here, I still was kind of like tiptoeing, like nervous, scared, you know? And I feel like now with this is the first time I'm actually doing something and not being scared, you know? Like, I'm actually doing something that I genuinely want to do for myself, like, not for anyone else. So I would just tell myself, or tell any young person, like, do that when it's in your head, do it. Like, don't wait a couple years because you're nervous or you want to see what other people are doing, or the industry is too saturated, or whatever it is. Just do it.
The advice I would give to my younger self, or younger women who may be watching this, is to make space for yourself, which means standing up for yourself and creating your own opportunities. Don't wait for anyone to do anything. Don't wait for no man. Don't wait for no job. Don't wait for no opportunity. Don't wait for a moment to happen for you to step into what it is that you need to be doing or that you want to be doing. I feel like I've gotten to where I am in my life now because I've created my own opportunities and I've created my own space to allow myself to fully embrace that. So, like I said, don't wait on anybody. Create your own space, stand up for yourself, and be confident and comfortable with your abilities. And also, don't let society pressure you into doing something. Society, your family, whatever the case may be. Follow after what you want to do, what you're passionate about, where you want to be, because at the end of the day, the only person that you really need to make happy is yourself.
You have the power to make a difference, not only in your life, not only in your family, not only in your community, but the world around you. Every hello that you say to someone, particularly someone who looks like us, every photo that you take can make someone be proud to be who they are. Every event that you attend, every clothing brand that you support, whether it's with a reshare of the art or whether it's a purchase, you are affecting someone's life. Every single breath that you take, you have the power to affect and impact the world around you. So nothing, no action, no word, no breath is too small. You matter.
Women's History Month for me is all about not only honoring legacy, but building legacy. I really think it's important for us to make sure that, like, you know, we're looking at our foremothers and honoring the work that they've done and the foundation they've laid for us. But also, by doing so, we're upholding that and making sure that we're pushing people forward, that we're creating space and allowing women to feel like, you know, they are completely empowered and that there are no obstacles in their life. You know, I think that it's really incredible that, you know, there's work like this that's being done. Thank you so much, Scott, for having me. But, you know, allowing emerging talent and allowing women to share their stories so that way they can pave the way for others and allow others to feel inspired by their work. Like, you know, if one person watches this and they walk away like, wow, I feel so inspired to go do the thing that I said that I had been waiting to do, but haven't had the time or the energy or courage to do, I'll feel like my day is made. I just want to make sure that anything that I can do in your world or any impact I can leave in your world is helping you accelerate forward, then that's it. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm doing it. So that's how the legacy that I want to leave in, you know, March and Women's History Month and beyond.
I really do like Women's History Month. I also like Black History Month. I like any month or any day where we get to celebrate. I know that people like get up in arms about, like, you know, oh, they should be celebrated every day. We should be celebrated every day. But like the fact that we just get a month to celebrate people who are discriminated against in the world, but like we have all the power in the world, like we literally birth human beings. I think that's pretty cool, you know? I think that's pretty cool. I like Women's History Month. Women's History Month means that like you just get a solid 30 days just to celebrate people who run half of the world or who run the entire world but aren't really celebrated.
This is a time to really appreciate like who we are and what we've accomplished. And to be honest, I feel like every month really should be Women's History Month, in my opinion. Every day, we should be celebrated. We should celebrate each other. We've come so far, yet we have so much further to go. It wasn't that long ago when we didn't even have the right to vote, and we didn't have the rights that we actually have now, and we're still fighting for those rights.
We deserve this month to just be celebrated, to be loved, to just be appreciated, you know, because a lot of times we don't get that, you know. So I feel like that's what it means to me, and just it's amazing to be a woman and to be able to be a part of that and to be able to contribute to that, whether it's with our business or just inspiring people, whatever it is.